live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of 2026 Lounge Time Off-Season Grades. I am pleased to be joined by my guest Vin Assalone to talk the Washington Commanders and their off-season grade. Vin, thank you for taking the time to join.
Rich, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So we have some updates on the Commanders. Recently, they just made a cornerback acquisition. Rasul Douglas joins the secondary for the Commanders, but we're going to go over all of their off-season moves right now. So in free agency, it was signing guys like De'Ami Brown stays, Jeremy McNichol stays, Jerome Ford stays, Jeremy Reeves stays. Mm-hmm. So you've got a couple guys that stay at least till next season.
Yep.
Then it was just kind of
filler players
like a Killer Witherspoon. You got really Van Jefferson to a contract, Tim Settle, Traylon Burks is. Yeah, Chig Okonkwo was one of your big things at tight end.
We need a tight end,
Dietrich Wise from the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Marshawn Lattimore gets cut.
Thank God.
Tyler Biadasz gets cut. Andrew Wiley got extended to a contract. In the draft, though, you managed to get three actually. The big one, Sonny Styles.
Of course.
Joshua Josephs from Tennessee is a really good pick. A lot of people like in the later rounds. Katron Allen from Penn State, and Antonio Williams.
Yep.
Not really the most active offseason. So I want to ask you, looking at your offseason as a whole now, how would you assess the Commanders' offseason and how they did?
So I looked on ESPN. They gave us a C+, and I want to agree with them. I would say a C+. I would say C+, maybe tier B-. That's just because we got no receivers. We have no receivers at all. I know we're drafting people and we're signing people, but we need a big guy. You know what I mean? Like how your team just made a big splash. We need somebody like that. McLaurin's fading. Mm-hmm. We have no receiver. Our receiver 2 right now is probably De'Ami Brown.
So I'm going to get to receiver, but I mean, you kind of leaked the grade out too quickly.
Yeah.
But I get you were paying attention. I'm glad you did your homework on the grades. But I want to say though, like when I look at your grade specifically, when I look at your roster, I think you made a good point that why haven't the Commanders made a move at receiver, which I'm going to save as my next question.
Okay.
I'm saying as the roster. I think Dan Quinn prioritized patching up the defense.
Yes.
I think
our defense has always been terrible.
Yeah. I think they did solid. I don't want to say they did great. And I was between two options for the Commanders' grade. I'll say that toward the end of the episode. Mm-hmm. But I think you guys did a good job with adding Josephs at defensive tackle, something that you needed some depth with. I do think they made some patchwork at the skill positions. I feel like running back, now you got two-headed monster between Krosky, Merritt, Katron Allen, but we're going to go to save that for more with the roster. Mm-hmm. Van Jefferson's a decent receiver. He has a Super Bowl with the Rams.
Yep.
So I kind of look at your moves as like they didn't move much, but they didn't go totally worse to the bottom.
Like add depth. Like we have like 5 running backs. Like it makes no sense at all.
So another move that you guys made in the offseason, and it was documented that Cliff Kingsbury might take a head coaching job in the NFL. That did not happen, surprisingly. Mm-mm. David Blau is now your new offensive coordinator. Now, from what I have heard recently, they're planning to get Jaden Daniels more under center. Mm-hmm. He's been mostly in the shotgun dating back to his college days at LSU and Kingsbury the first 2 years with the air raid system.
Yep.
Do you like the idea of Jaden Daniels playing more under center with Blau?
I got to see how he does. Obviously, I know he's like how you said, he's always been kind of the scrambling shotgun type of guy. So I'm curious to see how he is under center and actually taking those like traditional passes into traditional plays. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it works out. I mean, we'll see. I know I watched a lot of mini camp stuff like that, and they said they're going to be running the ball a lot more. just because of, when GD5 runs, he can always, how last year what happened, he got the injury bug bad. So try to take the pressure off him, try to take the injuries off him and the hits off him. I'm all for it, but I guess we'll see. We'll never know. I do like the Kingsbury offense, but it's unfortunate that we parted ways. So just curious to see how this guy fills his shoes.
So I think for your scheme, I think this is a big step.
Big step.
For him, because I think they have the right mindset as far as trying to take a lot off Jaden Daniels' shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, when you make that kind of
adjustment,
move, I think you have to have something that you can lean on and say, okay, this is what our calling card's going to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like last year when I was watching the Commanders in little spurts, there were times you guys could run the ball really well. Other times you were throwing mostly because you were behind.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of McLaurin, Jaden Daniels, or bust.
That was basically it.
And that's something that concerns me because we'll get to big picture with the division as a whole. And I have two teams I still got to do grades on, but I'll give a hint where I'm leaning there. And I think you guys have to find that calling card offensively that you're going to do. Now, Blau's trying to run more this year.
Yep.
You've got running backs. We'll go over the depth chart in just a little bit. But there are solid running backs that have done very well as a starter or in limited time or in college. But again, there's a transition from college to pro. But you've got a good amount of depth at running back. The question is, are they going to see more of what Detroit does with two backs? I don't know how that's going to go.
I don't know how it's going to play. This is like the first time in a while I'm like very curious of how we're even going to be.
Yeah.
It's a very big change offensive wise. Yeah. I have no idea.
So one of the big questions that you've heard a lot about and a lot of Commanders fans are wondering is, why haven't we got a receiver number 2? Because Terry McLaurin is the one, but he's entering 30 years old. And then your next guy is either a rookie in Antonio Williams, who I don't think is ready to make that big of a jump.
I don't think he's going to be a number 2 off the bat. No way.
Now, there are names like Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs out. Debo was just with you guys, but you guys cut him. Who's out there that you think, okay, if we got them for a year to be a receiver 2, can get you guys somewhere in that, I'm not going to say the 7 seed range, but at least contending to prove that we're going to fight till the end to be a possible contending team.
I like your guy. I like Diggs, man.
Okay.
I liked him a lot. I thought he went nuts in the playoffs. He plays when the lights are big, and I don't want Tyreek Hill. I don't want Brandon Ayuk. Everyone's like, oh, JD5, Brandon Ayuk, Rashad White on the same team, Arizona State. Like, I'm not doing that. Bro is going down an Antonio Brown path right now. I don't know why. I would definitely like to have Diggs or some guy that's a veteran that can you rely on instead of these guys that are. I mean, De'Ami Brown was really good for us when he played with JD5, but it's one season. I mean, I don't know how he did on the Jaguars last year. I really didn't watch a lot of film on him. But him coming back and being in the same system, I guess the chemistry's there. But I definitely would like to have Diggs for sure on like a 1 year or something max.
Yeah. I think the only other prayer I can think of is like some decent name receiver appears at the trade deadline. But even then,
I don't think so.
I don't know who the names are going to be potentially in the trade deadline that you guys can get. And the thing is, you guys have $42 million in cap space, which I think is third most in the league right now.
Yeah, we still got money to spend. I don't know why we're not spending it though. That's the thing.
I don't understand why Adam Peters is not looking at this roster going, I don't think Luke McCaffrey or De'Ami Brown or Antonio Williams, I don't think they're number 2 receivers. I don't know where we're thinking in our mind.
I'm not a big Luke McCaffrey fan at all. I think he's more of a return specialist than a receiver for sure.
Yeah.
And even that, he's not that good as a return specialist.
All right, so we're going to go to your roster now. Yep. And the starting skill group, I mean, we've mentioned receiver, and I'm sure you're going to mention it again. But I'm going to read down the starting offense for you right now. So Jaden Daniels, clearly QB1. Mariota is a good backup to have in case anything happens. You got Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Rashad White at running back, which is a nice 1-2 punch.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's more of a receiving back for sure than what Krosky-Merritt is. I'm still not sold on Krosky-Merritt. I'm still not sold.
Wow. All right. So then we mentioned the receivers, Terry McLaurin, Luke McCaffrey, Antonio Williams, De'Ami Brown.
All milkmen, yep.
Nick Nash is a guy from like San Jose State who was good, but I don't know if he's going to turn heads in camp. I don't know if that's somebody that. I mean, I think he might, but can he make that big of a jump on the depth chart to the 53-man roster? I'm hoping so. I don't know. Chiga Konwu at tight end.
Thank gosh.
I think he's actually one of the underrated signings because he can block, he can catch.
Him a lot.
That's going to be something that I think helps you guys a lot. Zach Ertz was old and on the tail end.
When I saw his leg, oh my gosh, I was like, there's no way he's playing again.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
Yeah. Offensive line-wise, Laramie Tunzel, who feels like he's been in the league forever now at left tackle, but he's still a guy that...
We went big on him, so we got to see. Hopefully he stays healthy, because if not, then it's going to look stupid on us.
Yeah. Still have Josh Connerly at right tackle. He's going into year two. So, still developing.
Yeah.
The interior part of the line, I think, worries me for you guys the most, with Chris Paul, Sam Cosmi, and Nick Allegretti. And then Andrew Wiley's kind of that swing guard tackle, which I think the interior of your offensive line would probably worry me. But I'm going to ask you this: you could argue receiver for the weakest group. In your mind, though, which particular group offensively do you like that you're excited about going into this year, and which ones are you like?
I would say
I don't know.
I would say probably the running back group I'm excited the most, just because there's so many different caliber of players, receivers, like receiving backs, power backs. Just it's a good mix, and hopefully we get some plays out the backfield. The one I honestly, it might be a tie for the offensive line and for the receivers.
Yeah.
The amount of times I watched games last year, and there would just be a 4-man rush, and the whole pocket would collapse, and he would just have to run out of bat or run around and make a play. Like, it's crazy. So I don't know. Hopefully the O-line's better. I know, who is it? Cosby, if I'm saying his name right, is coming off an ACL injury, so hopefully he stays healthy. But I don't know. I think the most exciting group, I would say, is probably the running backs for sure.
Yeah, I think Rashad White's been close to 1,000 yards. Or guys just got over 1,000 yards a couple times in Tampa, even though they were not a great running game the last couple of years. And then Krosky Merritt showed flashes at times, but can he be a running back one? You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Defensively, Dan Quinn's calling card.
Which I'm very shocked about, but also he's defensive heavy minded, so we'll see how it goes. But you could definitely tell off the offseason, we like how you said before, we patched up the defense for sure, or at least we tried to. We'll see how it goes. So
reading over your depth chart now, Tim Settle is your starting left edge. Deron Payne is your nose tackle. Javon Kinlaw is your right edge. Jerzon Newton, who was a second-round pick last year from Illinois, is that next man up possibly, who I think if he has a good season, he could start at the defensive line spot depending on how things go well and considered. You guys paid Odafe Owe a ton of money for pass rush. Caleb on Chason you got for a pretty nice deal. Sonny Styles you draft as the inside linebacker. Leo Chenal's the other one from the Chiefs. And then Dorrance Armstrong's kind of that backup edge rusher from the Cowboys who Quinn knows. Joshua Josephs is the backup to Chason. Omenihu from the Chiefs, he's another guy that's a good rotation. So, and the Dietrich Wise, I look at this edge rushing group, and I was shocked. I think it's actually above average compared to the rest of the league. And I'm going to admit, there's one other team that I'm looking at saying, okay, I think they might have arguably the best edge group depth-wise. This is above average to, I would say, because you got some guys that may not be double-digit sack guys. Maybe Odafe always the closest. But you got a couple guys that could rotate maybe somewhere between 5 and 7 at tops minimum in sacks. How would you feel about the overall edge rushing group that you have?
I think it's great. I'm glad we balled out. When I was watching the games, we would never get sacks, dude. It was always, they would have 1,000 years in the pocket. We would never get any pressure. And then that's why our corners get burnt, which I honestly think is our weakest, is our DBs. I think our line and our linebackers are great. Hopefully Sonny Styles can turn into that Fred Warner caliber type of linebacker where he just owns the fields and field general. I would say right now our weakest is the corners. It's always been the corners. It could be a 3rd and 30 or 3rd down and 30, and the other team would convert it just on a deep ball. Like I'm telling you. Hopefully this pass rush lives up to the money that we spent on them, the names. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at right now.
Dan Quinn's going to have to get creative as far as trying
Have
to
to.
protect that secondary. He's going to
Yeah.
have to find ways to blitz with those multiple edge rushers.
Mm-hmm.
Got two good inside linebackers. Leo Chenal's a Super Bowl winner from Kansas City.
Yep.
Frankie Louvu's in the backup role.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good linebacker group. It's honestly, I think, above average compared to a lot of rooms in the league. But how you protect that back end and how Quinn could mix in stunts, blitzes,
Yep.
how to do that is what I want to see from this Commanders defense, especially when you got Philly that's going to probably be a run-heavy team.
Yep.
It's going to be a new offensive identity.
We got killed by the run last year.
Dallas is going to be an aerial attack with Dak, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens,
Yep.
and then they ran a little bit with Javonte Williams, and then the Giants are going to probably be that old school Jim Harbaugh,
Yep.
run it down your throat with Cam Scottaboo, with Neighbors being out potentially
Yeah.
the first 5 or 6 games. So I think you have a group that I think can defend the run better, but now it's can you protect that back end with blitzes, stunts, creative ways to disguise to help that secondary
Yeah.
alleviate the stress that teams will test them with.
Yeah.
And let's go to that secondary as your starting secondary. Trey Amos is your starting left
Mm-hmm.
corner. You have Mike Saintstroll and you have Amik Robertson. Good guys, not great. I mean, Trey Amos, he's all right.
I'm
Nick's-
so happy I don't see Marshawn Lattimore on my screen. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And then, you have guys like Rasul Douglas, Will Harris, Jeremy Reeves, Akilah Witherspoon, Darius Rush, and then just a couple guys that are just trying to fight for the roster
Yeah,
spot.
basically.
I think it's definitely bottom third
Yes.
of the secondary.
Yeah,
It definitely
for sure.
is. And I think it's something that, to me, when I look at you guys, I'm saying, okay, how is it going to be a heavy penalty yardage secondary where they do draw a lot of flags? I'm
Oh my
hoping not
gosh.
for your sake.
Last year, I would always see it. There would be a play done, and next thing you know, a flag, defensive pass interference, like something like that. I'm like, come on, man! It always happened.
Yeah. So, Dan Quinn is on the hot seat this year from a lot of people that say
Yeah.
that he's on the hot seat. I want to ask you, though, do you think that what do you think realistically for the Commanders Dan Quinn has to do to keep his job?
That's a tough question. I think last year was just it's crazy. 2 years ago, we were at the pinnacle, and then we're at the sheer bottom. And it's all because of multiple injuries,
Yeah.
just getting gashed in the run. I don't know. I would say for him, he needs to. The thing is, that's a good question. I would say for more of a fan's perspective, we got to have more. I would say we have to have at least 7 to 8 wins this year.
Yeah.
I think that's realistic. I think we're going to have more on the 7 side, but just show some sort of improvement on the defense or the offense. Just something that we could be like, all right, take it one more year. We got it. Because last year, injuries, Jay Daniels out almost 95% of the year. We couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then we have Mariota, who's not taking first team reps. He's probably taking second team reps.
Yeah.
So I would say probably for Dan Quinn, at least a 7 to 8 season for sure. And that's realistic on my end.
So I think for me, I think they got to be a defense that is able to win some of those close games.
Yes.
I think if you can win, just say you go 4-4 in 8 close games.
I'm fine with that.
To me, if you can split the close games, it's going to be tough to beat some of those teams in the division that all got better, but I think you have to go somewhere you got to go at least 3-3 in the division.
Yeah, we have
Whether
we
you
gotta
can,
split.
you got to split with the Giants, you got to split with Dallas somehow. If you could steal one off Philly, that's great. And then just find a way to win the games that you can win. And there's a couple games that I'll go through when we go.
We got a tough schedule this year for sure.
It does.
That's the thing.
It does, and I'm gonna.
Which is crazy. Which makes no sense at all.
I'm going to get to that for you right now. So, all right, let's read through this roster because we're going to give record predictions in just a moment. So, opening up at Philly. And no A.J. Brown, but Jalen Hurts now is on a 6 different offensive coordinator in 7 seasons, but it's on the road. That's
the thing is, dude, I say we split.
Okay.
I say we lose the first game. I say we lose that one, we win that one at home.
All right. At Dallas, week 2.
We lose that game.
Okay. Home for Seattle, which Seattle's got to go to you.
we lose that game.
Yeah, that did not go well. The Colts, I don't know where overseas it is, but that's another one where the Colts are going to be fighting for a playoff spot in the AFC. But again, it's what Daniel Jones do you get?
that's the thing. You could get the great Daniel Jones, who everyone thought is amazing, or the New York Giants meme Daniel Jones. I don't want to say it, but I think I'm going to say we win that one. I'm going to say we're going to get Daniel Jones on a bad day.
Okay. Home for the Giants.
I say we win that one.
At the 49ers on a Monday night.
We lose that one.
So you're looking at 2-4 going into the bye week. And the Dan Quinn hot seat is going to get
7
loud.
wins, yeah.
And then guess who you got right after? And I'm gonna name 4 games in a row. Home for the Eagles, home for the Rams, at the Giants on a Thursday night, and then home for the Bengals on a Monday night, almost like a mini bye.
Yeah. I say we like I said, I say we split with Philly.
Okay, that's
we
big.
lose to the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm being spiteful because screw you delusional Giants fans. I say we sweep you guys. I say we sweep you guys and we beat Cincinnati because that team is in shambles right now. I thought my team was bad. Cincinnati is way worse.
Yeah. I think that if you do go 3-1 after the bye week, when there's talk already that Quinn is on the hot seat,
I think that's huge.
That is huge because then you're 5-5, and then let me rattle off the last 7 games: at Arizona, at Tennessee,
we win.
Home for Houston, home for Atlanta, at Minnesota, at Jacksonville, home for the Cowboys.
I think I could see wins in that edge.
That's what I'm saying. You got to just be like somewhere in that 4-6, 5-5.
Yeah.
And again, the 3 out of 4 that you're saying, I think is tough, but it's going to have to be that way if Dan Quinn's going to keep his job.
Yeah, basically. I say we win Arizona, we beat the Titans, we lose to the Texans because I think that defense is, still probably top 3 defense in the league.
Yeah.
The thing with Atlanta, it's tough because I don't know if 2 was under center, I think we got that win for sure. I say we beat the Falcons.
Okay. Minnesota's got Kyler now.
See, the thing is, we always like those type of teams. I'm so confused. What do you think?
I think you beat Atlanta. I think you beat Atlanta.
Give me your 2 cents.
I think you beat Atlanta. I think you beat Arizona. I think you can split with the Giants. I do see a world where that's possible. The Colts is iffy. I think you could. It's possible. I got to see how Daniel Jones looks. I don't want to tease my grade for Minnesota down the road. I think Minnesota's got question marks. I do.
I think it's just the defense. If we can if we can hold them on offense, because their offense, that defense carried them. I think CJ Stroud, I don't know what's going on with him, dude. Yeah. I don't know. I think we lose that Houston game. Like I said, I think we beat the Falcons.
Yeah. I think you could beat Minnesota.
You think so?
I think you guys can beat Minnesota. I do. The Niners, I think you'll give a close game, and I think it'll be close. But I'm saying Niners still beat you then.
And I think we lose to Jacksonville. You think?
Yeah, that's another coin flip game.
That's another coin flip.
I think because Jacksonville didn't do a lot, but then again, who knows? And then Dallas, where
depending on what record Dallas is or what record we are, hopefully we play their scrubs at the last game of the season. Yeah. But depending on that, I think it's a dub. So like I said, I think it's around the 7 to 8.
Okay. Seemed like you had around 8 wins from what I was calculating. I think I'm gonna judge this right now. I think
give me your prediction, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
So I have us. I'll say 8 because I'm a fan.
I'm gonna say I could see 7 and 10, 6 and 11 right now. I mean, possibly 8 and 9 if you can sneak a win against those coin flip games. Dallas being one, you got to split. Maybe sneak on Philly, get 1 win there. Okay, Jacksonville, end of the year. If Jacksonville's not good, they could be potentially a team that goes down. They had a quiet offseason. Mm-hmm. Maybe you get the Texans where CJ Stroud plays bad. I don't know. That defense is really good too. Like you said, Cincinnati maybe. Do you steal that game on a Monday night? You guys beat them in Cincy 2 years ago. I think that's where can you sneak somebody there. I'm going to say 7 and 10 is a ceiling, but no more than 9 and 8.
Do you think we sneak any of the games against San Fran, LA, or
not the Rams?
No, not the Rams. Not
the Niners.
Seattle?
The Niners. I think you could be. I'm not. I've already given my grade on that. And I've had some people comment, which I'm honestly not. I have no issue. I just don't think they had a great offseason, the Niners. But I will say,
more quiet than us.
Yeah. I think you guys can hang around with them a little bit. I'm not saying you'll win, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. All right, so you mentioned your grade,
Yep.
C plus.
C plus. Fringe B minus.
All right, I was torn between a C and a C plus.
Oh,
I was, because I don't like that the receiver 2 didn't get
No.
addressed. The interior offensive line looks bad. The secondary's got concerned.
yes.
And then I'm looking at this schedule here where the beginning is going to be this is a tough test off the bat for the first 6 weeks. You got to go somewhere between 3-3, 2-4, to bare minimum for Dan Quinn to keep his job. I'm eventually going to settle with the C plus. Maybe I'm a little generous here.
All right.
I think you did a good job addressing the defense. I think it's going to be a big thing if they can take that step up to being above average with Dan Quinn. That's his calling card. The running game has to be a factor for this team. Take the pressure off Jaden Daniels. My question for David Blau is going to be, do you trust those young guys to maybe get something to develop where somebody makes a leap to help Terry McLaurin?
Yeah.
I'm not expecting a lot from McLaurin.
Honestly, at this point, I could suit up and I could be a receiver. That's literally what the locker room looks like. I could be a receiver right now on that team.
So we both have the same grade, C plus.
C plus. Okay, I'll take it.
All right, so that is the Washington Commanders offseason grades episode. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell because we have more offseason grade episodes on the way. You do not want to miss out. We're going to do it up till August for preseason, up until I give my playoff picks, my Super Bowl prediction, all in time for week 1. You can also follow me at LoungeTimePod on X. Yes, NBA free agency's a little quiet right now. Yes, we have NFL football coming soon. I will be active though, but if you have a question for the show, I have no problem answering it. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into this episode of Offseason Grades. We will see you on the next episode with more teams and offseason grades.